But it's not just the schools. Many of them, by the way, are doing a heroic job. How about our churches? A young man recently came to me very angry and distraught. He was frustrated at the way his father, a church leader, was coaching him in sports. He's a basketball player and his team had made the city finals. The night of the big game, as he was heading out the door, his father literally stopped him and said, "Now don't go out there and kick butt. That's just not a nice thing to do." I'm not making this up. What a ridiculous thing to say to a 17-year-old athlete. Go out there and give him, well, don't give him anything. Just be nice. Be the nicest guy the opposing team has ever met. In other words, be soft. That is a perfect example of what the church tells men. Someone I read said the church may have a masculine exterior, but its soul has turned feminine. Emasculation happens in marriage as well. Women are often attracted to the wilder side of a man, but once having caught him, they settle down to the task of domesticating him. Ironically, if he gives in, he'll resent her for it, and she in turn will wonder where the passion has gone. Most marriages wind up there. A weary and lonely woman asked me the other day, "How do I get my husband to come alive?" "Invite him to be dangerous," I said. "You mean I should let him get the motorcycle, right?" "Yep." She shrank back, disappointment on her face. "I know you're right, but I hate the idea. I've made him tame for years." Think back to that great big lion in that tiny cage. Why would we put a man in a cage? For the same reason we put a lion there. For the same reason we put God there. He's dangerous. To paraphrase Sayers, we've also paired the claws of the lion cub of Judah. A man is a dangerous thing. Women don't start wars. Violent crimes aren't for the most part committed by women. Our prisons aren't filled with women. Columbine wasn't the work of two young girls. Obviously, something has gone wrong in the masculine soul, and the way we've decided to handle it is to take that dangerous nature away entirely. "We know that our society produces a plentiful supply of boys," says Robert Bly, "but seems to produce fewer and fewer men. There are two simple reasons. We don't know how to initiate boys into men, and second, we're not really sure we want to. We want to socialize them, to be sure, but away from all that is fierce and wild and passionate. In other words, away from masculinity and towards something more feminine. But as Summer says, we have forgotten a simple truth. The energy, competitiveness, and corporal daring of normal, decent males is responsible for much of what is right in the world. Summers reminds us that during the Columbine massacre, Seth Hoy threw his body over a terrified girl to shield her from the bullets. 15-year-old Daniel Ralbo paid with his life when, at mortal risk to himself, he held a door open so others could escape. That strength, so essential to men, is also what makes them heroes. If a neighborhood is safe, it's because of the strength of men. Slavery was stopped by the strength of men at a terrible price to them and their families. The Nazis were stopped by men. Apartheid wasn't defeated by women. Who gave their seats up on the lifeboats leaving the Titanic so that women and children would be saved? And have we forgotten it is a man who let himself be nailed to Calvary's cross? This isn't to say women can't be heroic. I know many heroic women. It's simply to remind us that God made men the way they are because we desperately need them to be the way they are. Yes, a man is a dangerous thing. So is a scalpel. It can wound or it can save your life. You don't make it safe by making it dull. You put it in the hands of someone who knows what he's doing. If you've spent any time around horses, you know a stallion can be a major problem. They're strong, very strong, and they've got a mind of their own. Stallions typically don't like to be bridled, and they can get downright aggressive, especially if there are mares around. A stallion is hard to tame. If you want a safer, quieter animal, there's an easy solution. Castrate him. A gelding is much more compliant. You can lead him around by the nose. He'll do what he's told without putting up a fuss. There's only one problem. Geldings don't give life. They can't come through for you the way a stallion can. A stallion is dangerous, all right, but if you want the life he offers, you have to have the danger too. They go together.